Hi everyone, welcome to Lang Vlog with Khadija, and I'm still your girl Khadija Abdulrazak. I wanna use this moment to wish us a happy International Mother Language Day. Happy International Mother Language Day. So if you don't know, today is a day dedicated to celebrate our indigenous languages. So, if you are just meeting me for the first time, my name is Khadija Abdulrazak. I'm a linguist, a language researcher, and the content creator of this YouTube channel. Lang Vlog with Khadija. So, in celebrating today's International Mother Tongue Day or International Mother Language Day, I will be sharing my personal story. The story that revolves around studying my mother tongue language, which is the Yoruba language spoken in Nigeria. So, Nigeria is a West African country. So the journey of studying this particular language during my undergraduate studies. I graduated from the University of Lagos in Nigeria. The first choice university, where I studied linguistics with the Yoruba language. Currently, I'm doing my MA program. My master's program at West Virginia University here in the US. The journey of studying the Yoruba language during my undergrad is a special one for me because it is a journey that evolves around resilience, passion, and owning one's journey. So it is also a journey that bets the existence of this particular YouTube channel, which is Langlo with Khadija. So if you are just joining me for the first time, don't forget to subscribe to this channel and also on your notification bell so that anytime I drop my videos, you will be notified. So, as I said earlier, I will be sharing my personal story. The story that revolves around studying my mother tongue language during my undergrad study. So, I'll be taking this from when I finished secondary school, high school in 2014. So, when I finished secondary school, I was at a point where I had to decide the course I was gonna do. I had to decide what I was gonna do in the university. And to be sincere, I don't know. It was very very difficult for me to make a decision. It got to a point where I had to sit down with some of my family members, and they started making decisions. They started making decisions for me. When you don't know what to do, but then there are just people around that just want to make the decision. And I remember then that one of those things that was noted was that I should go and study international relation. International relation. At the University of Ibadan. So it's one of the federal universities in Nigeria. So our agreement was to go and study international relations at the University of Ibadan. But then I was still, because I don't even know what international relation entails. Because, like I said earlier, I was not certain of what I wanted to do, so I don't know what the course entails. But then there was still this thing in me that there was nothing connecting me to the international relations, so I was not really happy. I was not feeling fulfilled enough. So after making this decision of studying international relation, because for you to get into the university, there's an exam. There are about two exams that you write. So one of those exams is called JAMP exam. Those exams you do to gain admission. So I was meant to fill my JAMP form then. So, because at home I already filled in, I already put in international relation, and I also noted my school of choice, which is the University of Ibadan. So I remember a day while still in this process, I visited one of my friends, then one of my secondary school friends, and then she started talking about studying linguistics. She said she wanted to study linguistics, and then while she was just saying, when she was just talking to me, I just reflected. I remember there was a particular day during my secondary school that I thought about studying linguistics. One of the reasons is because there is one teacher in my secondary school then whom I love whom I loved the way he teaches. And I mean, because he studied linguistics, I just said, okay. I mean, that day, I just remember that particular day that I said I was going to study linguistics. So that's how I remember that I've already had like her passion. I mean, should I say passion, like a particular course in mind? So that's how I remembered linguistics. Then, yeah, I remembered linguistics. So I just thought of, okay, me too, I'm going to do linguistics. So when I got home, even I don't even know what, I know it's related to language, I don't even know what linguistics is all about. So I just got home that day. I brought out my jam from. I just changed everything that was written everything that was written there. I changed my the course to linguistics. I also changed the school to the University of Lagos. I said I don't want to go to the University of Ibadan, so I changed it to the University of Lagos. So that was how I chose linguistics without anyone's consent. I mean, I did not tell anyone at home that I was gonna change my course to linguistics. So I made a decision, and I mean, I filled the jam form, and it was noted, and everything I filled in was noted. And so one thing about jam is that if you've chosen Hodges course and they've registered, then there's a particular printout that you will be given. So when they gave me the printout, I just saw the printout, and to my surprise, I thought it was something I was gonna do like, okay, feeling linguistics. I just saw linguistics with Igbo and Yoruba. I was surprised, like, okay, what's happening? And one thing I thought was that, okay, most probably, maybe some people would have to study linguistics, and there are some people that will have to study Hebrew, and some people would have to study the Yoruba language. So I don't even know what was going on. So I took the form home. When I showed them the form at home, they were really surprised. I mean, they were kind of, I mean, they scolded me that day when they saw that particular language. They said, Yoruba, we are going to school to study the Yoruba language. I mean, I was scolded that day. Like, that it was very depressing for me, because it was as if I don't know what I wanted to use my life for. And like I said earlier, or when I was trying to choose my courses, or like my course, I don't know. I was just, I was lost. I was just lost. So I was very depressed that time. So it got to a point I felt maybe I made a mistake by trying to fill the jam form, that I wanted linguistics, not Yoruba. Like, I saw linguistics with Igbo and Yoruba. That I wanted only linguistics. So I went back again. I paid for like a change of course form. Yeah, I did that again. I boldly wrote linguistics. Again, the printout came out. I saw the same thing, linguistics with Igbo and Yoruba. I don't know what was going on, like, what is going on. I just made up my mind that, okay, maybe some people will have to study maybe in the department at the University of Lagos. Some people will have to study linguistics, some will have to study Igbo language, while some will have to study the Yoruba language. So, to cut the long story short, I never knew I was going to study Yoruba or do anything related to Yoruba until the first class that I had in uni. Like, it's very funny. Until that very first class that we had that day, that was on the history of Yoruba, that was taught by that particular course was taught by my course advisor, Dr. Eleshin. Then, I mean, I never knew I was going to do anything related to Yoruba, and that's how the struggling began. I mean, I struggled with several things. One of those things I struggled with is learning to utilize the Yoruba language to communicate, to write, and also learning the tonal system, because the Yoruba language is a tonal language. Another thing that I struggled with was the stereotype then. I mean, having to face people that are studying linguistics with Yoruba, that I was studying Yoruba then, it was very, very difficult for me, because when anyone asked me then that, oh, what course are you studying, I'll just say linguistics. And it's not just me alone, like, most of my classmates do this, like, we do this a lot. Having to face people that we were studying the Yoruba language was very, very difficult, because it was like a stereotype. Like, people will look at you like, hey, so you're wasting your time in the university studying Yoruba language. So it's one of those things that I struggled with. So like I said, I was struggling with utilizing the Yoruba language. And earlier, before coming to school, like I mean, before I started my undergrad, I had this particular goal that I was gonna graduate with like a first class degree. That I was gonna finish with a first class degree. So after my first semester, then that I saw my poor I mean, my progress then in some of the yoga courses that we did. One of them was on the like it was. I think we did something related to yoga and culture. When I saw my low grades, then I changed the plan. Like, I mean, I was not even thinking of graduating with first. I was just thinking of how to survive. How will I survive in this department? Like, how will I survive? I thought I forgot about the first class that that how will I survive in this? So I started struggling. I struggled because then I had difficulty writing yoga essays. I mean, when I say essays, like answering questions, um, writing about several things. I mean, writing about a concept. I mean, a question, writing about a concept using the Yoruba language, being able to read very well, and also being able to mark words. I struggled with it. Like I struggled with it. And by the time after my first year that I saw my grades, I was like, oh, how will I survive? Like I started doing several things. I started meeting people. I started reading. Oh, I know that I remember that one of those things I did then was to read handout. Then I have to summarize those handouts alone using the Yoruba language. So I did a lot of things to get used to the Yoruba, to know how to utilize the Yoruba language. So by the time I finished my second year at the university, like I was already improving in the way I utilize the Yoruba language. I was definitely improving then, but I still had issue with some courses then. And yeah, I started improving to my third year. So my third year is probably one of the most difficult, or should I say toughest year during my undergrad, because I had to struggle with a lot of things. I had to struggle with classes. I had to struggle with health challenges. I remember that I had a ruptured eardrum then, and among other complications that I had then. So I struggled with classes, and I struggled with classes then. But then I was actually getting better at utilizing the Yoruba language, and the most beautiful thing happened then. That was how I made it up to like my overall CGPA was 4.0. Oh, sorry, 4.50 then. I made it to first class in my third year. My overall CGPA then. I mean, yeah, it's a very beautiful thing and a very risky thing, because that's like where that's the lowest grade for first class. Then it's something that I can easily lose like 4.50 on dots. So the journey, like how I put it, the intensity to struggle now began, like that intensity, because I don't want to lose that. I don't want to lose that grade. So I did a lot of things with fear of not losing that particular gradient, because I said earlier, it's one of my goals to graduate with a first class degree. So I kept striving. I kept striving. One of the beautiful thing about this journey is that when I was in my fourth year, I started translating news from the English language to the Yoruba language for Unilag FM then. So I was doing this alongside with my classmates there. So we're helping them to translate newspapers. So that was like I went at that particular point. I was feeling there was this passion that I developed having to translate. So there was this thing that was already connecting me to my journey, to this studying Yoruba language journey. So it was connecting me to the journey. I find passion in it. So at that point of helping to translate news, and yeah, there was a sense of purpose and fulfillment from there, because we're not just the one only doing it. I mean, we're not just students that are doing the translation. We also had lecturers. So when we are translating, I remember several situations whereby we have to be discussing about how a particular sentence is correct. So it's like we are communicating, like it's like being in in an environment of intellectuals, not just with students alone, but with lecturers. We communicating together. Oh, this is wrong. This is right. So I started feeling like there was this sense of purpose that I came with it. And at the end of the day, at the end of the day, I graduated with a first class degree. And also, like, one of those things that I'm good at is like translating. I actually translate. I translate from the English language to the Yoruba language, or from the English language to the Yoruba language, or from the Yoruba language to the from the Yoruba language to the English language. So I'm a translator. So I prefer translating than teaching because one of the skills that I have a good writing skill. So I love anything that involves writing. So I prefer translating to teaching. And the first video, this particular YouTube channel started has like translation channel whereby I usually share translation tips. You can still watch those videos if you want to learn about those tips that I've shared in the past. So my purpose of changing this from a translation channel to Lang Vlog with Khadija is just to have like more. I don't want to have it like a very restricted area, like just translation. I also want people to learn other things that relate to language. So, guys, I'm gonna be sharing my lessons, like my lesson from this particular story that I just shared. I'm gonna be sharing from a language learner point of view because this page revolves around language. So, the first lesson here revolves around learning language, whether indigenous or foreign language. So wanting to note here that learning any language is not a very easy journey. It's not a rosy journey. And like Sarah shared this particular point with us in the video that I uploaded that talked about the tips of learning a foreign language like Chinese. So if you've not watched those video, you can click on the link on the screen. So learning how to utilize language implies that you have to learn its phonetics, phonology, semantics, syntax, and all that. Though all these things may not be in a direct way. So there's no such thing as like an easy language. So with this, you have to create a why, or should I say purpose or objective that will keep connecting you or bringing you back to the journey. And because several languages have their like different peculiarities. For example, the Yoruba language is a tonal language, and it's not easy for us to learning its tonal system is quite complicated. So you have to be intentional about this language learning journey. So I remember that one of those things that I did then, we're trying to learn the tone is to get someone that was very good at utilizing the tone. Then I had to start putting tones on some words. Then I will show the person so that the person will correct me. So in addition to this, the next one relates to the importance of learning or knowing how to utilize one's mother tongue or indigenous language. So there are several things for me. I know that it was when I started learning the Yoruba phonetics and phonology that I find it easier, like very easy to relate to other languages, phonetics and phonology, because I'm a linguist. So I analyze several languages. Being a linguist, I didn't just study Yoruba alone. I'm also like a linguistics student, and one of those things that we do is to analyze language. So it's until when I know this thing in my own particular language, when I was able to easily relate with this in my own particular language, that I find it very easier to also do this in other languages. So the last point here revolves around learning to speak our indigenous language, the importance of learning to speak our indigenous languages. Learning to speak or learning to utilize our indigenous languages is one of those things that it's one of those things that helps to revive those languages. Because when we see people studying all these languages, we'll start seeing different works and people writing books using this particular indigenous language. We'll see different people using it to write poems and all that. So through doing this, it helps to revive such language. And studies have shown that one language dies every 14 days. So you can imagine if people are not studying, if they are not studying this particular language, if they are not doing works that revolve their centers around these languages, you can imagine how such language will go into extinction. So it is important for us to learn our indigenous language and also to keep utilizing it to communicate. It is very important, and which is why I've said that language students are heroes, because they help us to revive our means of communicating. Language students, they are heroes because they help us to revive our means of communicating. So you can imagine if you have a particular language and no one is using it, like no one is using it to communicate, or no one is studying this particular language in school to the point of using it to write or using it to create several works. So you can imagine that particular language going into extinction, which is why I've said that language students are heroes. So it is important that we utilize our indigenous languages, because all these languages, they connect us to our origin, I mean our source, and utilizing them is one of the ways to appreciate the blessing of God on us, that we indeed recognize these great gifts of being able to communicate. So I'm gonna leave us with this quote that says that if one's mother tongue is forgotten, one's value will also be forgotten. So once again, happy International Mother Language Day. Do have a lovely day, and thank you very much for listening to this lovely story. If you are just joining me for the first time, don't forget to hit the subscribe button and also on your notification bell, so that anytime I upload my videos, you will be notified. Thank you very much. Bye bye.